The markets are getting fanged, and this time is different. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Daily Update. And wow, the markets are getting fanged. The tech stocks are getting the crap beat out of them, and nobody cares. Everybody thinks that, once again, this time is different. You see really no fear. And again, I'm not telling you to be afraid here. I'm just saying that everybody thinks that the Fed will come to rescue maybe on Wednesday, that something is going to suddenly change. Nobody's worried about the amount of debt that we have created. Nobody's worried about that these companies were already priced for perfection. And nobody cares that the earnings are or may not be as good as they should be. So, when you look at a market that's priced for perfection, when you look at a market that is suddenly falling out of bed, you have to think about it. You have to wonder, is this it? And I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm saying that this is why we observe the market, watching this as we watch the Nasdaq go down another 100. So now the Nasdaq has dropped about 4% from its highs. We see the Dow down another 150. We see the S&P down. We see the Russell, after being much stronger, also down. These are all little warning signs. These are the market telling you. Now, again, what we'd be looking for here is the subsequent rally to see if the rally fails. That's where we'd be looking to get in and short this market. But right now, we're still going to be observing. Volume is still kind of light, so there's nothing to panic about. There's nothing to get nervous about here, and especially if you're hedged, you don't have to worry about it. But Facebook down another $7 or $8 today. Again, it doesn't matter, right? We just buy them because that's what we've always happened. And that's, of course, what happened with Netflix. It's now down 25% from its high. So when you look at the big picture, look at the following things. Look at what's going on in the bond market. The bonds are down. Now, normally you would think in a market that was a little bit feared, bonds would be going higher because they'd be buying as a protection. Well, you're seeing that interest rates are going to rise. The banks are very strong in this environment. Interest rates are going to rise. Gold continues to go lower. Nobody cares. There is no fear. We're loaded with complacency. We're loaded with everything we know because they tell us that this time is different once again. In the meantime, as we've talked about, we have to observe here and look. And again, what we want to see is the subsequent rally. The dollar was a little bit weaker today, but again, not as weak as you might think. And of course, with the Fed meeting on Wednesday, this could change the whole dynamics of everything. I do not believe that the dynamics will be changed for the positive for the market. It could create a dead cat bounce. We'll see how that plays out. We're not going to get overly aggressive here in a market that lacks volume, in a market that still, although the VIX was higher today, still lacks overall volatility. But when we see oil had, it looked to me what was a short squeeze today. You had a big rally. All of a sudden, sometime about 4 or 5 o'clock this morning, oil took off and it hasn't looked back. You've got the Bitcoin selling off a little bit. Not a big deal. I think the interesting part of today was the grain markets. Grains were very strong. They've now broken through some key resistance levels, looking like they're going to the next level. As we've been saying all along, you want to be a buyer of grains, you want to be a buyer of livestock because they've overdone this to the downside. Look for another announcement this week, and I would almost bet that it'll be something to do with China. We already know that Mexico is coming on board. We already know that the EU is on board. Canada and China are the next. And again, this is something that we'll look at, and that can create more action for grains and for livestock. Again, very nice up moves today, and I think those will continue. We have now broken above those key resistance levels, so now we'll look for soybeans to check $9. They should probably find a little bit of resistance there. Corn looks like it's got a straight run now to probably $4. And wheat looks like it's got to run to about $5.70. So we'll see how that all plays out. October hogs look to be one of the best buys on the table right now because of what's going on and the way that they've pounded into submission. So we'll look for that. But at the end of the day, the markets are the markets. And we're not going to buy into that this time is different, that magically the money is going to reappear, magically the debt's going to go away, and magically we're going to be able to work on this quantitative easing program. This market is old, it's long in tooth. Now again, it doesn't mean it's going down tomorrow, but just watch. You've got Apple earnings tomorrow, you've got Tesla this week. Look what's happened to Tesla, down 30% from its highs. So again, you're starting to see a lot of warning signs, and typically in markets like this, everybody doesn't pay attention to the warnings. They're so worried that they didn't get in the first time, they're trying to get it now. Remember this, The insiders are the ones that are selling right now on these stock buybacks. That's not a bullish sign. So keep in mind, patience, observation. Let's look for the next rally. And if that rally fails and makes a lower high, that would be our opportunity to take advantage and sell. That's what we'll be looking for. That's what I'm looking for. And that's what we'll be covering here on Bubba's Daily Update. In the meantime, let's see what happens tomorrow. Apple earnings, FOMC on Wednesday, jobs on Friday. It's a big week for news. Let's see how it plays out. But right now, the picture doesn't look very good. It looks like the market's getting fanged. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Daily Update. Todd Bubba Horwitz. And of course, don't forget to check out our high school investing program. Highschoolinvesting.com is the website, and we're going into our 9th year. Running out of capital, though, to support it, which I've done myself until recently, when many of you, and thank you so much for helping us with Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. So if you'd like to help out, you can do that for us. Go to patreon.com/Bubba Trading. In the meantime, don't forget to catch the Bubba Show every day from 4 to 5 Eastern at libertytalk.fm. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow with all the MLB trade updates and the deadline and what's going on in the markets. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you later.